The Blue Jays win 6-2 over the Red Sox to move to 6-5 on the season, and boy was that win needed. On the field, the Jays had struggled. Obviously, we just got swept by the Mets, and if you're watching over in the Red Sox series, they were putting up 18, 20 runs in a couple of games there, and they looked pretty phenomenal. Their offense looked like the best in the league, and it probably is one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. The problem with the Jays, though, was the runners in scoring position and the leaving runners on base, and they promptly corrected that as they went 6 for 13 in this game, still leaving 11 on base, but able to push 6 runs across. And the way that the starting pitching has been going, 6 runs will win you a lot of games with this fielding that we've got and the pitching staff. So let's get into the play-by-play. First inning was a lot of the same old same that we'd been coming to see, as we got 2 outs right away with Bichette flying out, Guerrero Jr. striking out, and then Santander walks, Jimenez walks, and Springer reaches on catcher's interference as he clips the catcher's glove. So we've got the 2 outs right away, then we get the bases loaded. We've had this happen a few times recently, and then of course Kirky hits a sky-high fly ball that gets out of play, so you think, ooh, second life, and then he hits kind of a lazy fly ball, and ultimately the Red Sox get out of it unscathed. Leadoff double for Jarren Duran in the bottom of the first looked like okay, here we go. Like I say, this first inning felt like what we'd been watching. But luckily, a ground at to second base, Bregman pops out, and then Cassis grounds out, and we get out of it. Then the pitching settled in for the second, and then in the third, we're able to push through when Bo Bichette doubles to center to lead off. Vlad Guerrero Jr. works a walk. Santander grounds out, but he moves the runners along. So, it's not what you necessarily want to see, but it is a productive at-bat. And then Jimenez is able to hit a sac fly. And again, that's where that ground out doesn't seem like much in the moment. You're upset with Santander, but it gets the job done, and it allows for a sac fly to be in play there. So, yeah, Guerrero moves up to third, Bichette scores, and it's 1-0 Blue Jays in the top of the third. Springer then comes through, and how good has Springer been? He went 4 for 4 in this game, and here he singles to left field, scoring Guerrero Jr. Kirky then singles, getting first and second before Wagner lines out to center field. So we pushed a couple across, which is what you want. Still could have done more damage, but hey, you push 2 in an inning, that's good enough. Berrios he had a pretty good game going here. His pitch count was very efficient. He was getting a lot of weak contact, especially for Berrios. He does tend to get roped a fair bit, but in the bottom of the third, you want a shutdown inning after you put on some runs on the board, and he unfortunately walked the leadoff hitter, which was Hamilton, and as you know, Hamilton is a very quick guy, steals a lot of bases, and sure enough, he steals second. But then what happens? You see Kirky make a little signal, and Berrios turns around and fires to second base and picks him off. So he gets Hamilton sleeping. So that was a huge rally killer for the Red Sox there. The Blue Jays really pulled off a clutch play. Rafaela then walks, which doesn't help matters. Duran doubles, so you've got second and third with 2 speed demons. Rafael Devers hit a sac fly to center. Rafaela scores, Duran to third, and then Bregman lines out to end the inning. So it's 2-1 Blue Jays. It could have been a lot worse there. Luckily for us, Hamilton stole second and then got caught sleeping, because that could have been an ugly inning. Those are a lot of fast runners, and that could have been a crooked number. So good job by Kirky, Berrios, and Jimenez there, getting that well-executed pickoff play and getting out of that inning, or helping them get out of the inning. In the top of 4, we go 3 up, 3 down. Same thing for the bottom of 4th. Berrios is dialed in. Top of 5, though, we push through again. So it was 2-1 Blue Jays. Vladdy Guerrero comes up and hits a single to center. Santander grounds into a double play. So more of what we're seeing. Jimenez then walks, steals second, and George Springer singles to left, scoring him. So they had George Springer batting behind Jimenez here instead of Kirk, and this is one of those instances where Springer's been hot, so you move him up, and Jimenez, he's able to get on first base, he's able to steal second base. I believe he had 2 steals in this game, and then a single drives him in. So it's just clutch hitting, but also the stolen base really comes in handy there, as he's able to get himself into scoring position without having to hit himself there. Kirky then flies out, killing the inning, but it's 3-1 Blue Jays at this point. And if you weren't watching the game, the weather was atrocious. It was just raining cats and dogs out there. So you get a few runs in and you're starting to feel a little bit more confident, because the the batters just aren't feeling comfortable in this type of, I think they said it was 3 degrees Celsius and it was raining, and when you're watching football, it kind of turns into a running game, and it's typically a little bit more stunted. It's a similar type deal in baseball. The ball doesn't fly that well. The runners aren't all that keen to keep moving. It just suppresses a bit of offense when you have rainy days like this. So It was Richard Fitz pitching for the Red Sox, by the way, and he pitched actually a really good game. I'll flip over to the box score and just see what he did. So he ended up getting a quality start. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. He did have the 4 walks, but he looked pretty good, and he went 100 pitches. So I was fairly impressed with him. He looks like he's a guy. I hadn't really heard of him until spring training, but he's a guy I will be keeping an eye on because he looks fairly talented. Bottom of 6th inning, though, Berrios goes 3 up, 3 down again, and he's still in cruise control. And then the top of 7, him keeping them to a 3-1 game at this point, 3-1 lead for the Blue Jays. In the 7th, Weissert comes in pitching for Boston. Guerrero Jr. singles to right. Santander strikes out. He's got to get it going. Jimenez grounds into a fielder's choice. And then Springer singles to right after Jimenez again stole second base. So again, a stolen base followed by a Springer single makes it 4-1 Blue Jays. That's a recipe I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this year. They were trying it with Kirk, but unfortunately he's been hitting a lot of lazy fly balls and just pop-ups, so it hasn't been cashing in. But with Springer hitting the way he is right now, Jimenez getting on, getting himself into scoring position, and then single scoring him is, you know what, we're going to win a lot of games playing ball like that. If we can find even a bit of a home run stroke from our top 3 bats, this offense is going to be fine. We're still probably a power bat short, but that's an entirely different issue. But yeah, the offense is looking, when it plays like this, it will have, and the way the starting rotation is pitched, we'll win a lot of games with this much offense. Kirky then reaches on an infield single. Wagner singles to center, scoring Springer, and Kirk moves up to second before Nathan Lucas, who had a bit of a rough game offensively speaking, grounds out to second base. So you've now pushed it to 5-1 Blue Jays in the top of 7, and the the issues that we've been having in the Mets series with the bullpen usage, when you get to a 5-1 lead with 2 innings to go, these are the types of games where you absolutely cannot blow these. So I understand why management did what they did here. And what I mean by that is 8th inning, 5-1 ball game. It's not a save situation, but you still go to Jimmy Garcia for the setup, and then the plan there is to go Jimmy and then Hoffman. And Jimmy comes in and looks a little bit shaky. I don't blame him. It was super rainy, and the ball couldn't have been that comfortable to grip, but anyways, you get an error on Wagner. He gets a ground ball kind of chopped at him. He jumps up, catches it, throws just something terrible over to Vlad. It skips, gets past him. Again, the conditions were rough at this point. The ball must have been soaked. Wagner couldn't get a grip on it. Is what it is. You don't like it, but Rafaela moves up to second on the error. Duran then walks. So you've got first and second, none out. Devers hits a line out to center field. It was on a rope, and Lucas made a nice grab on it, so that was great to see. That's why I say he had a bad game offensively, but he did make a couple of nice grabs out in the field. And Bregman flies out to left. Cassis rips one to left as well off the Green Monster. Rafaela scores. Duran moves up to third. It's 5-2 Blue Jays with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th before Story strikes out swinging. Strikes out looking. So they're able to hold it. So Jimmy got into some trouble there. He put the first batter on the throwing error. Then he walks a guy. Then you get a line out, fly out. So you got 2 outs, 2 on. Give up a single. It's getting a little bit shaky. The tying runs there. And anyways, he's able to get a strikeout looking. He threw a fastball right down the pipe to Trevor Story and got him. So that was a full count. It was a clutch pitch. Lucky Story wasn't looking for it and didn't swing at it. Yeah, we move on into the top of the 9th, and you're looking for some insurance runs here as Santander finally starts you off with a single to right field. Jimenez flies out to center. Springer reaches on an infield single that I believe hit off the pitcher, if I'm not mistaken, that one. I believe it did hit off the pitcher and kind of shoot over to first base, but anyways, everyone was safe. Kirky lines out. He hit this one 106 or 107 miles per hour. It was a rope. It was just over the head of the second baseman, but he was able to just kind of jump up and snag it. So I won't blame Kirky for that one. It was nice contact. It was on a line. It was just right at the second baseman. Wagner then walks. Springer moves up to second. Santander to third. So you got bases loaded, 2 out. And Nathan Lucas is able to single, and he scores Santander. Springer would have scored, but they did a review on this, and Springer essentially stepped on home plate right as Will Wagner's thrown out, going from first to third. So a bit of a rookie mistake there. Springer hustled hard through the plate. Not really much he could have done there. And it cost us a run, but it was now 6-2 Blue Jays. Could have been 7-2, but it is what it is. Jeff Hoffman comes in because he was already up and throwing because it was a 5-2 game. And since he'd already been up and he was warm, you might as well throw him in at that point. And with tomorrow's pitching matchup being Garrett Crochet against Easton Lucas, that's not a game that you want to throw away by any means, but it's also not a game where you're fully anticipating to need Jimmy and Jeff Hoffman, just because Crochet is so dominant and you don't know what you're going to get out of Easton Lucas. So I appreciate having Hoffman up, might as well stick him in there and secure this win and take one that you can get guaranteed. He gets Abreu to strike out, gets Narvaez to ground out, and then Hamilton to fly out to end the game. Really efficient, really good stuff out of Hoffman. I'm loving his save appearances so far. He's been lights out for us. It wasn't a save appearance, it was a 4-run game, but still, it's closing the game on a very game Boston Red Sox lineup who have been phenomenal lately as they've been on quite the winning streak. And 6-2 victory for the Blue Jays. They move into a tie at 6-5 with the Red Sox. Basically, if we can split this series, that would be fantastic. If we can win it, that would be, I would be ecstatic with that. Anyways, let me know if you guys watched the game. What did you notice? Any highlights for you? Let me know in the comments, all right? We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.